I think a biggest challenge occurred when I was about to retire from the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Point of retirement was close coming, and I had no pathway for future, almost nothing, and whatever I explored didn't work. So, but the important thing was that I continued. I continued in the same way that I was continuing. One of the biggest risks that I took, 1990, I think, I thought of starting a large cohort study on tobacco attributable mortality because there was no data available at that time. I had published my own data on tobacco attributable mortality, which was based on much weaker kind of cohort studies.
One more important thing which I got from this particular story is the bold decisions. I think this is one of the most bold decisions. First, to start a large cohort study without much funds, and then to discard that study just because you feel that the data was not correct. So, sir, how you have adapted your leadership style to change in technology?
As you already said, that I'm in this area for more than 50 years, and huge changes in technology have taken place over this.
Sir, any weakness which you think you are still working on?
Plenty. I mean, weakness है तुलसी वे अंदर मर चुके जो कहूँ मांगन जाए, उनते पहले वे मरे जन्मुक्त निकसत ना आए. तो मांगने में नहीं होता, नहीं भी नहीं होता. वो that is my view.
A very good afternoon, audience. Welcome to Voice of Change, a global leadership series. So in this series, we bring you insights and experiences from global health leaders who are shaping the future of public health. I am Dr. Sonu Goyal, working as Professor of Public Health in Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research, Chandigarh. And our guest for today's podcast is none other than Dr. Professor P.C. Gupta, sir. So Dr. P.C. Gupta is a well-known figure of public health and one of the world's leading experts in cancer epidemiology and tobacco control. We always sometimes call him Bhishma of tobacco control as well. Dr. Gupta is a director of Healis-Sekhsaria Institute of Public Health in Navi Mumbai, where he has led groundbreaking research and advocacy efforts for over 2 decades. With a Doctor of Science in Epidemiology from Johns Hopkins University, his career spans over 50 years across some of the world's most respected institutions such as Harvard School of Public Health, Tata Institute for Fundamental Research, and International Agency for Research on Cancer. Dr. Gupta has been a well-known figure for his extensive work on smokeless tobacco and its health effect, especially in Southeast Asia. His research has played a crucial role in shaping tobacco control policy in India and abroad. He has authored over 300, and I guess even more, scientific papers and contributed to numerous WHO reports and national health programs. And whenever some citation occurs in tobacco control, Dr. Gupta is one of the person who is being widely cited in various research publications. He has won various prestigious awards, including World Health Organization Tobacco Free World Award and Luther Terry Award from American Cancer Society, one of the very prestigious awards. In today's episode, we'll dive into his incredible leadership journey, his lifelong commitment to improving public health, and lessons he has learned as a leader, researcher, and a change maker for the society. So welcome, sir. Welcome to this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sonu. Thank you for that very generous introduction. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So, sir, you have been a father figure in tobacco control, and also from very long when nobody was in tobacco control in India. So you and Dr. Reddy was the only person actually who have galvanized tobacco control. So according to you, what are the key qualities that define a successful leader? Because in your leadership journey for tobacco control for last so many decades, so what do you think are the key qualities and how does qualities shape your leadership journey over time?
The first point is that we have to learn. So a leader also needs to learn, and I kept on learning about tobacco from the very first data that I saw. I'm basically a statistician trained as a master's in statistics and started working as a statistician in a research project. So when I looked at the first set of data that we collected in the field, from then onwards, I realized that we talk of oral cancer, but the real problem is tobacco. And with research over all the decades, different forms of research, cohort studies, cross-sectional studies, and intervention trial, that particular premise got more and more confirmed. So that is how I got into tobacco control, not just tobacco epidemiology and tobacco research, but also the desire to advance tobacco control. And you asked about leadership. I think the no work can get done alone by a leader. So if I have done, there is a lot of work in my name, of course, but it is always work with a team.
Yeah.
And to get the work out of a team, I think there are many qualities that are required. One most important is to have faith. Unless you have full faith and you demonstrate and show in your team members, the work will not go forward. So, of course, faith, and of course, you have to have appropriate interaction with your team members. That includes not only about the work, but also about work-life balance. They are to listen to their problems if there are any, and be very, as much as possible, be ready and willing to help without any hesitation. So I think those are the things that I think are important while leading a team and while doing work.
Wonderful, sir. So I think the two things, very important thing which you have told is about leaders should keep learning. So there is no end to learning. So I think even this age and even at that stature where you are, so you have told that you are still learning and you are still actually learning from what are the advances which are happening. And second thing is very important for a leader is building team. And for building team, you have told the faith in the team is very important. Listening to them, listening to their problem and solving their problem, helping them is equally important. Wonderful, sir. Sir, one
Thank
of
you.
the biggest challenges you faced as a leader, because as a leader, we always are facing with a lot of challenges, and how you have navigated that situation, and what are your learnings from it?
Very interesting. Yes, of course, there are challenges that one keeps on facing at various stages, various points. If I think about my challenges, I think a biggest challenge occurred when I was about to retire from the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. That was in 2004, 21 years back. And even at that time, there were projects that were ongoing. There were commitments that were made to prepare papers and reports. So it was a continuing work, but that uh, point of retirement was close coming. And I had no pathway for future, almost nothing. And whatever I explored didn't work. So, but the important thing was that I continued. I continued in the same way that I was continuing. And it so happened almost at the last minute, things fell into place. Healis-Sekhsaria Institute for Public Health started. And the most satisfying thing about that was that the entire staff that was working with me in the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and it's a very prestigious institute. It's a
Right,
very beautiful institute,
right, sir.
great campus on the seashore and all that. So a beautiful environment. And from there, we came to a NGO kind of a place, and that too very far away in Belapur, in Navi Mumbai. But I was happy that everybody who was working with me uh, shifted, and came to Healis in Belapur. And although we shifted, the entire office shifted, we continued to work without any interruption. I think we hardly must have interrupted for a couple of days, not more than that, in terms of shifting the office. And the work kept on going. And of course, all the team members were there. They all worked very hard in everything, and the work kept on going. So that was a very big challenge, but I think we were able to overcome it. Uh, and we have
Right.
to have faith, as I said, in everybody, and things do work out.
So I think you have faced that challenge, sir, upfront. So that is what you are not afraid of the challenges, whatever the life, how the life takes you, I think, as a leader. So you have taken that. And the important thing was the trust which you have built among your team. Actually, that is why the staff and all those people move with you. Otherwise, leaving a job, leaving a very lucrative job in a very good place, it is very difficult for people to leave. It is the trust which you have developed as a leader, so that took those people with you. And also, I think you told that you have not stopped, and that shows that the type of networking, the type of relationship, the type of team which you have developed with outside world. I think outside the institute, the credibility which you have developed as a leader. So I think people believed on you that the Dr. Gupta is a can deliver whatever things we can give to him. So I think, sir, these credibility and trust are two important things for being a leader.
That is very right, Sunu, what you said, because uh, especially in my area, our area, you don't work yourself, or you don't work with just one team of your own. The work is in collaboration, and for me specifically, there has been a lot of international collaboration in my work, and also national collaboration. In fact, when I shifted from TIFR to Healis, a most important project was report in tobacco control in India, of which
Right.
Dr. Sunaz Reddy and I were co-editors. And that was the kind of last stage of that work in which I shifted. And with the result that in that report, if you look at the acknowledgement and affiliation, Healis-Sekhsaria Institute for Public Health is also there. So yes, it is very important to have collaboration, relationship, their faith, and on you build up their faith also, that you will continue to work whatever may happen outside.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. I think this is really inspiring, sir. Because as a leader, when you are taking a lot of decisions, because one of the tasks of being a leader is taking decisions, and during making decisions, if you are taking lot many decisions, then you are bound to make some mistakes during a decision, because every decision might not be, although made in good faith, but they might prove to be not very successful. Have you made some mistakes during your leadership journey for 5 decades? And have these type of mistakes have shaped your leadership approaches?
Yes, of course, that is very true. I mean, challenges in while working and the mistakes, those are part of life.
Right.
For example, one of the biggest risk that I took, 1990, I think, I thought of starting a large cohort study on tobacco attributable mortality, because there was no data available at that time. I had published my own data on tobacco attributable mortality, which was based on much weaker kind of cohort studies. And the number was astounding at that time also for everybody in the world. And then close friends said that, Prakash, you should have better data, you know, otherwise it doesn't look very uh, reliable. So I
Right.
started this cohort study, a large cohort study. Now, this was started without any grant, without any assurance, just with seed money, and started that. And we of course continued, and recruited 150,000 persons, and followed them up also. So it worked out, but it was quite a challenge. Made mistakes also. It happened that, you know some people working, uh, the data is not always of the quality that we want.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
so a considerable amount of data that was again collected with spending a lot of resources in terms of time and money, I found that that was not really up to the mark. So we had to simply discard that data just because it was not up to the mark. And there was no sort of selection bias from the data, but the data as a whole from one investigator. And that investigator was very bright, brightest of all investigators. But bright people, this also have learned as a mistake, that bright people are very bright and give you very good results, but they can also use their intelligence and brightness in other ways.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
create shortcuts that you don't want in your results. So that is a kind of learning, very important learning uh, that I had. And then, of course, you have to be always
Right.
mindful of that.
Right. So I think we should, as a leader, we should have trusts in people, but it should not be blind. It should not be based upon the brightness or the intellect of a people. I think that's a very good thing. And again, one more important thing which I got from this particular story is the bold decisions. I think this is one of the most bold decisions. First, to start a large code study without funds, without much funds, and then to discard that study just because you feel that the data was not correct. It is not only the bold decision, but it shows the integrity of a leader. I think the leader should have, and that is the example which you have demonstrated to the team, that despite all those spending which we have done from a very meager money, or the which we have got as a seed money, but despite that, we are willing to discard that data. So I think this was bold decision, and one of the very good example of integrity of a leader. So, sir, I think let's move further, because leader is very important. In the first instance, you told that you work in a team, so that is one of the biggest quality which you have. And I have seen you working in a team, and you have built a team of tobacco control researchers. Initially, you were just two, and then over a period of time, you have built that team, not only within your own department, but outside your department as well. So, sir, what are the strategies which you feel that you use to keep them motivated, to keep them inspired? So what are the things which you use? Because now many people work in a team, but the team are not very inspired. They're not motivated.
I think when we work with a team and we want to get sort of good work out of them, uh, the most important thing is that a leader must interact with each member of the team, and interact not just about the work, but need to really talk, and talk about other things also in addition to the work.
Right, right,
And it has to be, official interaction is there, and that has to be little bit of strict and as per the requirement. But that easiness, that comfort in
right,
relationship and faith on each other, that needs to be built up, and that needs to be built up individually also and with the whole team also. And that is the way I think we need to build up a team, take the work forward. And it's not just with our own team, I think with everybody.
right,
uh, if we listen uh, and interact, you know I think people are very good, very nice.
right.
When I people give compliment, and they are very nice to me, and I'm surprised why they are. Obviously, I don't do anything for them, most people, but they are very, very nice, and very
Right.
complimentary, very nice. And this is because just interaction, talking, listening to them, that itself does the work.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. I think very nicely said, because development of a comfort level is very important. And I think listening to them, interacting with them, and I really like that it's not only about work. When you're talking about work, talk about work, but there should be a feeling of having some emotional intelligence, like empathy about and working. How is your family going, and all those things. I think these are also important talk when we can always introduce some time in between. I think I myself am inspired by when I entered in tobacco control way back in 2010. I was looking at you that you are the top leader, and I'm just a small person who is just trying to enter. And when I talk to you, whenever I meet you in person during conferences, you are such a grounded person. So that actually, and I have never felt any hesitation in calling you sometimes. I know that you have been quite occupied in many tasks, but I call you anytime and you responded quite nicely. So I think that is one of the reason why I emulate you and try to, I think you are one of the role models in our tobacco control society.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
very much.
so, sir, you have told about the conflicts and making tough decisions. So, do you remember any tough decision other than you told about one large cohort study, but any other tough decision which you have made in your team, and how do you resolve that conflict or making that tough decisions?
Yeah, there's in it. Whenever you work in a team, conflicts do develop, and sometimes the decisions need to be tough decisions. That we all face that kind of a situation. Now, I won't give, or I can't even think of very specific kind of examples, but in general, I can say that if there is a conflict situation, of course, everybody will come and tell individually. But we have to always remember that when we hear from one person, that is that person's version of the entire situation, entire conflict,
Right.
and that is natural that that person is looking at everything from his or
His
her
own
point of
angle.
view.
Uh,
The way to resolve is not to listen to one person and then go to another person and talk to them. The we get both or even more than two them together,
mm,
then sit down and speak with them, and then let them say, and then nearly you have to only be a kind of a just a patient listener and resolve the differences. The differences will get resolved because after all, uh, there is no fundamental difference as far as our work is concerned, research work and
uh,
office work is concerned. So there is no such thing as property dispute or that kind of a thing.
right,
So
right,
so if we sit down and talk patiently, coolly, and compassionately with each other, the resolution takes place, differences come out, the via media and the pathway also appear, and then the situation gets resolved. And sometimes it may require you, after hearing everything, that a tough decision is required, but then everybody knows that this tough decision is taken because of this reason, because of this background.
right.
And it decision may be tough, it may not be in favor of everybody, but then they understand, everybody has to understand that this is not because of any preconceived notion or against
Right.
someone, but just because the situation demanded that way.
Demands it. Yeah. No, I really, I think sometimes when we used to hear different point of views and people sit together, then if we ask now, what is the difference? So sometimes people are not able to point out the faults actually, and the points are resolved. So I think this is a good way to resolve that, hearing from all, sometime confidentially, and sometimes meeting them together. And if as a leader, if one is not biased, and I think then people don't mind about tough decision. People mind tough decision when people feel that person is biased toward one person.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. So, sir, how you have adapted your leadership style to change in technologies? Because over a period of time, you might have seen in your 8 decades of journey. So you might have seen a lot of adaptation, a lot of things technologically, your team dynamics, and other circumstances.
That's a very interesting question. Yes, of course, we all know, as you already said, that I'm in this area for more than 50 years, and huge changes in technology have taken place over this period. And earlier, whenever we did surveys and studies, it was always paper and pencil method of doing surveys
Right,
and
right.
publication and all that. Then in 80s, desktop computerization started. So when I was starting this Mumbai cohort study, I determined that, okay, let's not go by paper and pencil method. Let's do electronic collection of data. Now, in 1990, there were laptops may have come, but they were like briefcases, huge, heavy things, not suitable for field work in terms of taking them around and doing field work. So that was out of question. But I looked around and I found one small instrument from one company in UK. It was like a calculator. It has two or three lines of display, 16 characters, and it has its own programming language, and it had some thumb drives in which you could store the data. So I took that technology. Now, I could not have mastered that technology at that time. There were other things also I was doing. But I gave the responsibility to a fresh, young MSc statistics girl and completely gave it to her, the assignment.
Right.
And didn't leave it. I mean, she was doing it and coming every few days. I've done this, I've done. And I was, in fact, a little too harsh also. Because although she was programming the questionnaire, I insisted that every kind of range check and every kind of internal consistency check in the questionnaire answer should be built in the program. Now, it was a tough task, but I had faith that she will do it. I didn't interfere at all. It
Right.
took a little time, perhaps a little more time than may have been taken by, of course, a competent professional. But a fresh person, a fresh girl, did all that, did the entire system, not only of collecting data, questionnaire and this, but transferring the data periodically from there to desktop, creating data file. The entire system was created by this team, my team. And although it was created in 1991, at least for 10 years, all the technology kept on advancing. We used the same
Right.
system because it was so convenient. So we kept on using the same system. So the challenges are there, challenges need to be made. But as I said, if you keep faith in the people you hire, people with whom you are working, give them, of course, guidance, you give them encouragement, and then wonderful work can
be achieved.
Yeah, achieved.
Right. So I think one important lesson to the leader has to be adaptive. I think you are adaptive to changes in the technologies, because if we are not adaptive, then the things will be left behind. So that is one important thing. The second thing, again, I think making people believe, even if a person is fresher or even if person is new, so making people believe that he or she can do it. I think I have also seen in my team that sometimes when I give them the task, they say, "Sir, it's very difficult. It's not possible." So when I ask him, I just tell them that, look, just try, and I'll ask you after 3 days. You try, and I know the solution. You see after 3 days, and then after 3 days they come. Yes, I found the solution. So again, as you have rightly said, that one problem may not have just one solution. There are multiple solutions. So a leader has to just build a faith in or believe in the people and let them find the solutions.
And the problems persist. You may change, you may adapt technology, but there are others outside in the world who may not be so acceptance of that kind of technology. In
Correct,
fact, when I
correct.
wrote my paper on this Mumbai cohort study, the first paper, cross-sectional study, and submitted it, in that I devoted a good part to this technology, because that was for the first time that electronically data was collected on a small handheld device. So when the reviewer, I got the reviewer's comment. One reviewer was very unhappy. This is to be result. You give the result of your survey. What is this you are describing? This electronic collection of data methodology. But then I corresponded, and the chief editor of the journal, he overruled the reviewer
Oh,
and said that yes, this is important part in this paper and it should be written. So
right.
you know, if you are persistent, if you are sure of yourself, and then others do get convinced, with the appropriate.
So one has to be persistent and sure of the thought sometimes. If you are sure of the thought, be persistent.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important lesson, sir. So, sir, you are role model of many people in tobacco control. Many people emulate you. But do you also have some role models in your life, and have they shaped your values and leadership philosophies?
Yes, of course. Uh, you have to learn. You have to keep on learning also. Uh, but the most important role models, are in early phase of career.
Right.
Later on, of course, you keep on learning, but real
Correct.
those are the ones in early phase that are real role models. So when I joined in 1966 Tata Institute of Fundamental Research for an oral cancer research project, there was a principal investigator of the project, was a Parsi gentleman, dentist, very reputed dentist, Fali Mehta, and there was a co-principal investigator. Uh, he was a Danish professor, Professor James Spindler, very illustrious kind of professor. At that time itself, he was chief editor of several academic research journals, and he was
Right.
not satisfied with the scope of those journals, so he started one more journal as a chief editor, and he has written many books, and the tumor is named after him, and he was a multifaceted personality in many ways. So he was very influential as far as I was concerned.
Right. Right. Right.
And the way he, right after the first meeting of a few days, the way he treated me, way he encouraged me, it was phenomenal. He
Right.
called me, he just simply told to PI that send him to Denmark. I had no work
Right.
in Denmark. He didn't have any work for me in Denmark. But he said, no,
Right.
let him come to Denmark. So I went to Denmark. That was my first foreign trip. And, that shows how a leader has to keep on encouraging this
Right.
other persons, and encouraging them,
Career journey.
helping them,
Yeah.
providing facilities to them. And he himself was, of course, a kind of what I think of him as a summit personality. There is a Peter principle that says that every man rises to a level of his incompetence.
Hmm.
As long as you are competent, you keep on progressing. Once you reach your level of incompetence, you stop. So that is why he said that it's a very old book, but very famous at that time. You see at the top so many persons who are incompetent.
Right.
But then there are summit personalities who are not incompetent wherever they reach. So they keep on going from one field to another.
Hmm.
And
Right.
there are such. So Windberg, in my opinion, my thinking, was such a summit personality. There are many,
Wow.
like Homi Bhabha. He was such a
Right.
summit personality. Every field he went, he entered. He went almost to the top. So there are
Right.
such summit personality, and one has to emulate them. And about the leadership, my project principal investigator Fali Mehta, he had a leadership style of managing the team, and I learned a lot from him how to be a leader, how to help others.
Wonderful, sir. I think rightly said that we are fantasized with a leader who encourage us, who facilitate us in our career, who listens to us, and who has trust in us. I think these are the leaders which I think we always try to emulate. Sir, in the today's world, because when we have a leadership journey, so we face a lot of challenges in today's world, and the challenges are different from the challenges which we face earlier, right? So, any lessons which you like to give to beginners who have just started their leadership journey?
A leader has to be uh, knowledgeable. You can't
Hmm.
be a leader unless you know what you are asking other persons to do. So you don't have to go into absolute nitty gritty, but an overall perspective and knowledge is important. So it is very important that you keep on increasing your own competence, your own knowledge. So once you have that, then you can interact, you can talk very well, and you can provide some guidance overall. One has to always think, differentiate between microscopic and macroscopic. So
Right.
microscopic you won't go, because that person to whom you have assigned the task may know more about that technology or that particular task than you
Correct.
do. But as a leader, you have to have overall vision, overall direction, macroscopic, and need to provide that quite clearly. Because unless you can provide that, the desired result won't be obtained.
Right, right. So wonderful, sir. I think a person who have started so should have some thoughts about how someone want to see after 10 years or 15 years from now. I think a proper vision that person need to have and should be focused on certain thing because some people start working on different directions and spend a lot of energy in working in many areas. I think rightly told that one person has the direction, vision, and be focused, and also be competent in the area in which that person works. I think these are some of the important things. There is no shortcuts. So now
Absolutely.
the generation actually start thinking about having some shortcuts for the leadership, which unfortunately doesn't have. Wonderful, sir. So we had a wonderful discussion with you on these aspects. So now, sir, we'll be asking you some rapid fire questions. So the first is one word that describe your leadership style.
Just one word.
Just yeah, one
The
word or
one
a
word I will
sentence.
choose is soft.
Soft. Oh,
Soft.
wonderful, sir. I think hearing your thoughts. So I think you try to help people, listen to people. So I think all those soft qualities of leadership one should have. A leader you admire the most.
I learned most in terms of leadership quality of a team and human was my PI, Fali Mehta. He had,
Right.
I really learned a lot from him how to deal with the people, how to get the work done without being offensive and without showing your power, you get the work done.
Right. Wonderful, sir. I think this is a very important line, showing your power. I think that can always be shown, but without showing the power, how to get the things done, that is really important. So, sir, any strength, big strength as a leader, your big strength as a leader.
My big strength, I think I'm able to think dispassionately without personal prejudices, and I'm able to put myself quite a bit in other person's shoes. As is one of the major requirement when you are writing a paper, you are not, if you are writing as an author, it won't be successful. You have to
Right.
write for the reader, the person who is reading the paper. For that you have to write, and then
Very
only
good.
you can write. So
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. I think very good, sir. Sir, any weakness which you think you are still working on?
plenty. I mean, weaknesses. There are plenty of weaknesses.
I can't see any, but I think listening from you.
In fact, friends also tell me my weaknesses. For example, my first impulse is always to believe anything that is said to me.
Uh,
I don't disbelieve it. And people say that's a weakness. In fact, once, if I was I went to a conference in Japan, and the person who was organizing the conference, I went to his room. That was in a hostel. And he was in a very nice room and all that. And my room was, of course, is like a hostel room, a small room. So was looking at the room. So he said, "Oh, when I came, this was the only room available." So I said, "Okay." Then he said, "If you believe that, there is a bridge I want to sell you." That's a standard American phrase.
right.
So, but that's the way it is. And second thing, my weakness is I don't ask for anything somehow. I don't ask for favors. I don't ask for anything. I mean, that's my nature. And second, added to that is I don't refuse. And that time, many people tell me, many friends and colleagues, why don't you say no? Just say
Yeah.
no. Why you have to say, always consider, say yes? And I think
Correct.
the
Correct.
reason is that in my childhood, there was a doha that sort of went inside me, you know, तुलसी वे अंदर मर चुके जो कहूँ मांगन जाए, उनते पहले वे मरे जिनमुक्त निकसत ना आए. तो मांगने में नहीं होता, नहीं भी नहीं निकलता. वो that is my weakness. That
Why, wonderful, sir. Wonderful. I think uh, uh, these are very important thoughts which hearing from you. Any book which has changed the way you lead?
ha, there are many books, of course, but for example, from childhood itself, and I read a little bit of Gita, and not so much now in childhood,
Right,
and
sir.
in fact, that kind of shows, induces that rather than using your power to get things,
Mm.
you need to introspect and think, work on yourself more than work on others. So that is the kind of thing that appeals to me. And of course, if you want episodes and examples, Mahabharata has so many
Right,
examples, stories from which each one you can learn a lot. So there are plenty of
right,
things.
sir. Right. No, I think these are the very apt example, Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata. They're very wonderful examples of how leadership, I think, roles have been played by different characters there. Wonderful, sir. And one thing very important is working on yourself is more important than working on others. I think that is very important for being a leader. Sir, what motivates you to a biggest leadership myth in your opinion?
Biggest leadership myth, I think, is the thought that you instruct someone to do things and they will be done.
Okay.
As a leader, you just tell people, instruct that do this thing and think that it will
Right,
be done. It doesn't happen that way. We all know
right, right.
that. You need to go a little deep, much more deeper than simply telling what needs to be done. So that,
Correct,
I think, is a big leadership myth.
correct, sir. And the biggest leadership, sir, what motivates you to continue leadership role in tough days?
uh, Satisfaction and happiness. If you when everybody is satisfied and happy with whatever you are doing, whatever they are doing, then that's a very good that is a motivation to keep on working further. Otherwise it would be difficult. If you are satisfied, others are not satisfied, others are not happy, it won't be a motivation for working
Wonderful,
further,
sir.
even if you are doing very good work.
Very good. A code or mantra you live by as a leader?
A quote or mantra, did I have any?
Any line, anybody?
No, I think be compassionate. I think in different situations with different persons, team members, others, I think that's most important. And when we listen, when we interact, we have to be compassionate.
Right, right. And work-life balance, sir? How do you maintain work-life balance as a leader?
I balance again. I think by having complete faith on my partner, Parvati,
Okay.
because she takes all the life balance and I do only the work. That's what is that comes together. And travels and all that. So, but having complete faith, interaction
Each other, yeah.
in each other, it that works.
Very good, sir. A skill every leader must master. You have enumerated a lot of skills,
Yeah,
but one skill you think one leader should always master.
I think to be reasonably satisfied with what you have done and what you have achieved. That
Hmm.
is extremely important, because if you are dissatisfied, it doesn't work. And
Well,
it doesn't mean that you don't, when you, in retrospect, when you think, you always think that, oh, I could have done much more. I
yeah,
also think that way now, also, even now, that, oh, I could have done much more in this area, this way, this way, this way. But that doesn't mean that you are dissatisfied
yeah.
yourself.
One should always be satisfied in the things and incremental changes needs to be done, I think, rather than having just dissatisfaction that I could have done that.
Yeah.
Wonderful, sir. Sir, most difficult part of being a leader when you are leadership position.
Yeah, most difficult part is again expectation of others. Uh,
Hmm.
that you will solve all the problems immediately. Whatever conflict arises, whatever difficulties are faced, that will get solved almost immediately and fairly. And
Right.
things take time. It is possible, but it may not happen immediately. It may not happen to everybody's satisfaction. And those are the things that we have to
Yeah, one can't meet expectation of everyone, I think. That is one thing which we need to always remember as a leader. Sir, one value you would like to teach young leaders?
listen to everybody. And
Right.
one quite often thinks that leader is there to talk, to
Hmm.
instruct, to give instruction. But I think
Hmm.
most important quality should be listening, listening listening everybody, listening everything, understanding that, and then you can be an effective and good leader rather than just by talking.
Right. Very good. Listening, very important, which is going down and down over a period of time.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
very right.
And one word your team would use to describe you, sir?
Ah, I think that should be asked to the team. And Sonu, you might be a better person to tell me how you would describe
I
me
think,
rather than.
yeah, I categorize you as a very humble leader. I think because definitely, I think interacting with you for now 8 to 10 years, so I find you a leader with a lot of humbleness, a lot of empathy in people.
Yes, that is what many persons have said. That is very
Yeah, yeah,
accurate.
right. And so success in your words.
Success.
Yeah,
Success is joy of what you are doing, satisfaction in what you are doing, and uh, including the satisfaction of everybody else with whom you are working. Because just your satisfaction doesn't matter. It's really
right,
has to be
right.
satisfaction of the entire team with which you are working. And you have to, if you take joy in what you are doing, that automatically comes as a satisfaction.
Wonderful. I think the joy and satisfaction, not only what you are doing, but also your team members and whosoever is part of that particular endeavor. I think that is really important. That is success rather than the outcome or rather than the materialistic part of it. Wonderful, sir. So I think we had wonderful discussion with Dr. P.C. Gupta, sir, in this Voices of Change, and we have heard a lot of leadership lessons from him. I have written a lot of things, but just to summarize those things, that a leader should always keep on learning, should have faith in the team, listening to the team, and always ready to help the team member, and that will build the trust in the team members. Should be able to face the challenges upfront, should not be dissuaded with it, and always, whenever such challenges are there, always build the trust in the team and build that credibility with the team members so that they are always with you. Leaders are bound to make mistakes. Any leader are bound to make mistakes, but they should always keep on learning from their mistakes. The leader should always inspire, keep on inspiring and motivating the team member by listening to them personally as well and as the official this thing, because hearing for all is really, really important and one need to be a very patient listener. Leader has to be adaptive to the changing technologies, always eager to learn new technologies and make believe people that they can do it. And that is what the faith is. And they should always encourage their team member to do the things which they can do and always challenge them to do harder and even more better things. I think, according to Dr. Gupta, that a new leader or emerging leader should be knowledgeable and should have a vision and should be focused on the ideas on which they want to do in next 20, 30 years. And there is no shortcut for being a perfect leader. So, sir, we have heard a lot of things from you, and there were a lot of insights for being a leadership. And the audience listening to the Voices of Change will be very motivated, inspired with your talk, which we had today. So, thank you very much for being part of this show, Voices for Change.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonu. I always think, and now also, it's confirmed that your skill in summarizing is par excellence. Hardly anybody else can do it so well as you do. So thank you very much. Wonderful to
Thank you
talk.
very much, sir. Thank you again for being part of the show.